Focus then, and let's put the spotlight on all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. On the technical side, we are now joined by Rupak De, Senior Technical Analyst at LKP Securities. Rupak, afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll talk about Jain Irrigation Recycling first. The stock is down 14% today. It ended 20% lower in trade yesterday, and remember, all numbers continue to remain below estimates because of which the stock has been declining for the second consecutive day. When we compare the numbers to estimates, EBITDA has declined 48% even as compared to expectations, and company had given guidance that EBITDA per ton could be in the range of 50 to 55,000, but it came only at 32,000 rupees per ton, and that clearly continues to remain a concern. Volumes dropped in the fourth quarter because it had lots of containers that were stuck in the UAE ports, which it was not able to receive on time, and company expected working capital cycle to actually come back to 35 to 40 days in the fourth quarter, but it remained elevated at 66 days in the fourth quarter. Company remains confident that fourth quarter margins were a one-off. It was transient and not structural in nature, and there was an elevated buying from China in third quarter, which continued in in the fourth quarter as well. But remember, the outlook that the management has shared for FY27 is very positive. The stock, of course, continues to decline for the second consecutive day.
All right, let's move on from there to the next counter. Rupak, you picked out latent few for us. Now, this one's seeing some momentum in the last 5 days. It's seeing an upward momentum. Do you see this momentum to continue, and what are the levels that you're tracking?
Yeah, if you see the stock, it had fallen by 50%, more than 50%, in fact, since December till March. And since late March, we are seeing stock recovery. And currently, the stock has given a consolidation breakout, and the stock has moved above its 50 days exponential moving average. So definitely, the stock is looking very good for the short-term upside. And the RSI is also supporting. The momentum indicator RSI is supporting on the longer on the upside. So I expect the stock to remain in the positive momentum, and on the higher end, the stock might move towards 370. And on the lower end, we can place a stop loss below 310. Below 310, the stock might lose its current momentum, but till then, the upside momentum might prevail in the stock.
All right, let's move on to the next counter that is soaring away in trade. That was up 15% in the morning, is still trading with gains of 10% right now. It is after a turnaround quarter four that Puravankara posted. They reported a sharp jump in its quarter four revenues, and they have returned to their profitability, helped by higher project handovers and record sales bookings during the year. And the profit for the period stood at 110 crore rupees compared with a loss of 88 crore rupees in quarter four of FY25. The customer collections also rose 36%, and quarterly sales value surged 190% to 3,547 crore rupees. And in the back of strong set coming in for Puravankara, that stock is up in a way 10%.
Okay, so that's Puravankara. The stock is up 10%, but let's also put the spotlight on Indraprastha Gas Limited. When company has reported steady set of numbers, revenue has come in ahead of what the street was working with, an uptick of 2.5% on a sequential basis, but EBITDA has seen a decline of about 11% QOQ. First, let's talk about revenue growth, which was led by high volume growth that the company reported in the fourth quarter, led by both CNG and PNG segments. But EBITDA decline of 11% was due to the 3% rise that we saw in gas cost in the fourth quarter, and that was largely because of the West Asia conflict and supply concerns that the company witnessed in the fourth quarter. As far as volumes are concerned, volume growth was very strong in the fourth quarter. Total volumes rose by about 3% sequentially. CNG volumes saw an uptick of 6%. PNG volumes saw an uptick of 6%. So across the board, volume growth clearly was on the stronger side, and that is the reason the stock is seeing gains of nearly 3.5% in trade today.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Another one from the IT pack, Rupak, Coforge. The entire IT basket is buzzing in trade, especially the mid-cap IT names. This one's up in a way more than 5% in the trading session. In fact, Coforge has been trading with gains of almost 10% in the last 1 month. Tell us from here on, what is the upside that you see for Coforge?
Yeah, you have rightly pointed out. So we are seeing a significant up move in the mid-cap IT stocks. For the last 2 days, it has been moving with its strength and with the rising volume. So overall, the sentiment around the stock is likely to remain positive as the stock has reclaimed its 50 days exponential moving average. Also, it is sustaining above it. And the momentum indicator RSI is in bullish crossover. So overall, every indicator and the price pattern are suggesting a positive momentum in the short term. So I expect the stock to move towards 1550 in the short term, whereas the stop loss can be placed below 1370. Below 1370, the stock might move into a consolidation move.
All right, let's move on from Coforge to Triveni Turbine, that's in focus and that's reeling under pressure on its Q4 earnings. The company has reported a healthy revenue growth, but the EBITDA and PAT have come in below the estimates as raw material costs increased. The margins declined on a year-on-year basis due to advanced projects and the segmental mix. On the back of that, Triveni Turbine, in fact, there's a reversal coming in on the stock. If you look at the chart, a sudden buying spurt that has come in after the decline since morning. Some buying on dips as what is being witnessed in Triveni Turbine right now. It's actually climbed up almost 6% in the trading session.
Okay, so that's Triveni Turbine for you. But let's also talk about Bharat Electronics Limited. That stock will be reporting its numbers post-market hours today. We are expecting revenue growth of about 6% YOY, which will be led by healthy execution of the strong order book that they had in hand. As far as margins are concerned, they could contract by about 300 basis points on a year-on-year basis. And this is on account of high base, but we are expecting strong margins to come in, although there could be a contraction on a quarter-on-quarter basis. As far as order book is concerned, as on the 1st of April, it stood at 74,000 crore rupees. So clearly, very strong order book is why we are expecting revenues to rise this time around on a year-on-year basis. Key monitorables include any updates on order wins, Uttam radars, and any kind of order win outlook that the management shares with its earnings will be very crucial. The stock is holding up to gains of 0.3% ahead of its numbers today.
All right, let's move on from BEL to NLC India. Rupak, another one that's doing well, 3.5% gains coming in. In fact, in the last 5 days, it has climbed up 15%. So there is a momentum in the stock. What are the levels that you're watching out for on NLC?
So since March, the stock has moved up by 63%. So the stock is already in uptrend with its higher bottom formation. And the stock has been sustaining significantly above its critical short-term moving average to 50 EMA. So I expect the momentum to remain intact in the short term as well. And on the higher end, it might move towards 390, 410. Whereas on the lower end, I would place a stop loss below 345 because below 345 the stock might move into decline.
All right, so that's NLC India on the charts. Let's move on to another loser in the trading session, and that's Afcon Infra that reported a weak set of Q4 performance with sharp decline in profitability. In fact, the company has posted a loss in Q4 of 88 crores versus 111 crore profit last year. High employee finance and other expenses have impacted the margins, which also fell from 9.1% to 1.6% in Q4. On the back of weak set coming in, we do see a decline coming in on Afcon, so that's down and out 3%.
All right, let's also talk about Gujarat Narmada or GNFC. That stock is in focus on the back of Q4 results. In fact, the stock is gaining in trade today on the back of that. Let's talk about how the numbers look like. Now, revenue has seen an uptick of 7.5%. The stock, of course, is sitting with gains of 5.5% on the back of strong set of results. Revenue is up 7.5%. We have margins which have expanded to 22% versus 12% margins that the company reported same time last year. Revenue improved due to better sales realizations for majority of its products. We have performance which was improved not only because of better realizations but also on the back of lower input costs. So that is why margins have expanded on a year-on-year basis. Fertilizer revenue segment declined on account of lower volumes, but we had chemical segment which reported strong performance in the Q4. So that's GNFC for you. The stock is up 5.5% on the back of strong results that it reported.
All right, let's move on from JNFC to Policy Bazaar, popularly known as PB Fintech. What do you pencil in on the charts for this one?
So the stock has given a beautiful cup and handle pattern on breakout on the daily chart. Also, you can see that the stock has been trading above its range for the last 2 days. So it is a very good stock to own on the long side. And a stop loss can be placed below 1720. Till the time it is remaining above 1720, I expect the stock to move towards 2050 in the short term.
All right, let's move on from PB Fintech to JK Papers that reported a healthy revenue and EBITDA growth in Q4. The margins also improved on a year-on-year basis that was aided by better operational efficiencies and lower raw material ratio. Profit growth also remains strong, though PAT came in below the street estimates. The company has achieved its highest ever annual paper and both sales volume in FY26. On the back of goods said thereafter, JK Paper is in focus and that's up and away 5.3% in trade.
Another counter which is gaining in trade is Dhanuka Agritech. In fact, the stock is now up 11% on the back of strong Q4 and the buybacks that the board of directors have approved. Now remember, a revenue for the quarter gone by has risen by as much as 30% on a year-on-year basis. Margins have come in at 25.8%, which is an expansion of about 100 basis points YOY. But as I mentioned, the board of directors have also approved a buyback. The size stands at about 70 odd crores. This will be done at 14 rupees per share, 1400 rupees per share, and the stock is currently trading at 1230. So clearly, it's a significant upside as compared to the current market price, and that is the reason the stock is holding on to gains of 13.5% as we speak.
All right, let's shift focus to Tata Motors. PV, Rupak has picked out. The stock is also doing very well in today's trading session, up 3%. Tell us what are the levels you're tracking for this one?
So previously the stock was consolidating within a narrow band, and then today it has given a consolidation breakout. Also, it has been trading above its 20 days exponential moving average. 50 days exponential moving average, and so far the stock is maintaining its strength for the day with rising volume. So I expect the stock to move towards 400 in the short term, whereas a stop loss can be placed below 350, because below 350 the stock might lose its momentum.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Tata Motors PV. Rupak, thank you for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and discussing all those stocks that are in focus today. But shifting focus then.